Jay Thomas, Morning Blend. I got my people back. I got Tony, and Janelle is back, studying for the last couple of weeks for finals and taking finals. We know she passed. We know she passed with flying colors. She's going to be taking care of it psychologically. I'll be getting ready to get on the couch first. Tony second. She'll psychoanalyze us. Right now, let's psychoanalyze some of the movies that are actually coming out this week. Unfortunately, none of us saw Aquaman. They didn't do a screening for it. And it doesn't matter what we think or say about migration. Kids are going to go see it anyway, right? Nobody's saying anything.
Sure.
I had my son's birthday party. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's get into the Iron Claw. And Tony, as usual, tell us about Iron Claw.
So, as someone unfamiliar with the Von Erich wrestling family, it's an intense, emotionally draining, basically biopic, if you will, of that family and their rise and subsequent fall from the top.
Definitely. Janelle, let's talk about the movie and what you thought about it.
It's heartbreaking, but it's supposed to be. You're going in, I think you should kind of know what you're setting yourself up for when you go in to see it, because it is dark, it's draining, it's depressing, but you're watching it. You're not having to live it like he did. So I thought, geez, the cast was phenomenal. Everybody brought it. I think everybody's going to be really surprised by Zac Efron. He looks a little different, but understandably so. Yeah, I thought all around, I thought it was a really, really good. I know it glosses over a lot of years really quick, but I think it does the family justice.
Speaking of doing the family justice, as someone that didn't know anything about the Von Erich family, I'm sorry, guys, I didn't know. I don't keep up with wrestling. You're right. It was very informative. It was very touching. It was very deep. It was very dark. Sad family situation that happens to them. I wouldn't call it bad luck as they call it. It's just how things happen. But yeah, Zac Efron barely recognized him. Ooh, that was interesting. The wrestling was very interesting just to see the inside of wrestling and what they do and how they go up the ladder and come down the ladder. I thought that was really cool. And just the fact that, there's all the big ones, but there's also little ones that actually move up. So that was very interesting. Tony.
Yeah, so like we said, we're all touching on Zac Efron is phenomenal, but I got to mention Jeremy Allen White, Harris Dickinson, Paul McCowney. I mean, Mara Tierney's measured performance is really strong as well. Like we said, it's dark, it's depressing. That you leave the theater like in not in a bad mood, but just down. I found it odd after doing a deep dive that they combined one of the actual characters in the film into two of the real life brothers. I thought that was an odd touch. Um, but I mean, this alone for Efron is a step in the right direction for him. He's going to, it's a crowded year, so I don't see many award nominations coming his way. But it's definitely a step for him, and I can't wait to see where he goes next.
All right. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. Janelle?
I might give it about a 3.5 out of 5. It's really fast. It's pretty quick, but overall 3.5 out of 5.
Tony?
3.5 out of 5 as well. I think it is strong. It's well put together. Some strange narrative choices, as I discussed on one of them earlier. And again, it's just dark and depressing. If you know what you're getting into, you might not feel that way. But for the majority of the people who don't know anything about the Von Erich wrestling family, it packs a punch that they're maybe not ready for.
All right, next up we have Poor Things, and we're going to go with, if she doesn't mind, Janelle.
I'm actually not going to discuss this movie because I don't want to give people who are into this kind of thing. I don't actually want to actually encourage them to see this. So I'm gonna have to actually sit this one out.
Tony?
All right, I'll start. It's a remarkably crafted story of kind of human evolution, and it contains elements of horror, science fiction, and very erotic elements as well that tell the story of this girl named Bella. And I will leave it at that, so as not to give any spoilers away.
Definitely not giving any spoilers. I thought it was a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of old school, very cinematic. The photography and cinematography was great. The background was great. The costumes, man, they should get nominated for the costumes. Of course, Emma Stone, Best Actress probably will get nominated for it. It was a very good movie. I thought it was great. Mark Ruffalo, Best Supporting Actor. I can see that happening in this particular movie. Man, absolutely great. Moving along, let's talk about Saltburn. Tony.
So this is a daring tale of greed and basically desire. It's devilishly delightful. I had a blast with it. Barry Keoghan did a great job. Jacob Elordi, Rosamund Pike, Richard E. Grant really combined to give this mysterious intrigue. And Emerald Fennell gives us another film to really kind of eat over and over again.
Janelle?
I thought it was really good. It's fun. It's pretty much what you kind of, if you're kind of go in knowing it's kind of a talented Mr. Ripley type of movie, you're in there just for the amusement and carnival ride that it kind of is. It's fantastical, but still realistic. But yeah, I think all the acting was phenomenal. I think Barry he's deliciously wicked in it. Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I got to go along with it too. I like the idea of the roller coaster ride. You're absolutely right. And I'm always the one that never reads the synopsis or what the movie is about. So I walked in cold and I'm watching all these things happen. And finally, at the end, this is the way that I wish Killers of the Flower of the Moon ended. You didn't know quite exactly what was going on until you got closer to the end. And I was just totally surprised, like, God, that guy was evil. He was definitely evil.
But you don't know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're still talking about what we're talking about, definitely. All right, we're still talking about Saltburn. So I'm going to give Saltburn, again, I thought it was a great movie. I got to give it a 4.
I agree. I give it a 4 out of 5. It's a fun ride.
Tony?
I go 4.5 out of 5. It's one of my year's favorites. Honestly, I've gone back and watched it multiple times since I saw it the first time. There are some very interesting, grotesque scenes, but it really does fit the overall narrative. And I just think it's a really smartly written film for that people are thankfully expanding on Amazon Prime this weekend. People are finally going to be able to see.
Definitely. All right, now it's your turn again, Tony. We're going to talk about The Boys in the Boat.
Look, it's an incredible true story based on the University of Washington's rowing team back in 1936, if I'm not mistaken. And it's formulaic, it's simple, and very, very predictable, but that's what makes it work so well. It's charming. It'll win you over. Edgerton's phenomenal in it, and really the performance of Callum Turner holds the whole thing together.
It gave me some facts that I didn't know about the Olympics during that time because everything was focused on Jesse Owens and what was going on at the time. Heard nothing about what's going on with the rowing team. Hey, it was a great movie. You're absolutely right. Yes, it was pretty predictable, man, but it was fun to go along for the ride and row with them. It was really cool. Janelle?
Yeah, and if you enjoy those underdog Disney type sports movies, I think you'll enjoy it. I know they're pretty cliche. I know they have a pretty set formula as far as how the movie goes, but if you enjoy those type of movies, I think you'll enjoy this one. It's a great story of working class kids going up against money and power at that time. And yeah, I thought it was excellent.
Let's not forget it was directed by George Clooney. I'm going to give it a 4. Janelle?
Yeah, I give it a 4. The female character in it, I didn't really enjoy her too much. I thought some of the writing for her was a little, but yeah, overall, I thought the story was pretty great.
Okay, Tony.
Yeah, the writing definitely did a disservice to her. She was basically just kind of a stand-in, if you will. But again, I would agree with the 4. I think it's really charming. It's sweet. I think it's again it's not breaking any boundaries or anything like that. But it's a good story, and honestly, it's a fun road through history.
All right, here we go. Last but not least, did everybody get a chance to see The Color Purple?
Just you and I.
Just you. All right. Janelle's going to sit there and play with the dog. she has earned that. Trust me, guys. 2 weeks studying and final, she's earned it. I'm going to start off with The Color Purple. It caught me off guard. I already know, I've already seen the movie, know what the book is about, but the musical was tremendous. The choreography was great. The costumes, the scenery was unbelievable. Mr. was Mr. as usual. Celie was Celie as usual. Nettie was Nettie as usual. And which is very interesting because when you get towards the end, you know what's getting ready to happen. So why do the tears come and the nose run and you're sitting there? knowing exactly what's going to happen. I enjoyed the end of the movie more than anything because it surprised me. I didn't expect that very, very end part. It was very, very good. Fantasia was great in it. Ooh, everybody was good. It was exceptional. Tony?
So again, I mean, this is one that I didn't think needed to happen. I think the original stands on its own merit still to this day. Not to take anything away from Fantasia, not taking anything away from Danielle Brooks, who is, in my opinion, right behind Divine for supporting actress.
Yes.
And Coleman Domingo, what an incredible year for him between this and Rustin. But I don't think it offers really anything new. The songs do work, don't get me wrong, but I just felt that making a musical and kind of developing from that source material really took away the emotional impact for me. I don't know if it's maybe because the original is just so great, but aside from those performances and like Corey Hawkins, again, another great character actor that's really kind of moving up in the world, but it just doesn't do anything for me to be like, oh, I'm going to watch this one instead of the 1985 classic. So I do respect it. Again, the costumes, the performances are great, but it just doesn't hit that like, oh, this is definitely something I need to watch. I'd rather watch the 1985 version without question.
Okay, what would you give it?
I go 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, it is well crafted. It is entertaining. The songs are strong. It just lacks that emotional impact that the original just perfected so well. So for me, 3.5 out of 5.
For me, it's going to be 4 out of 5. And guess what? There are so many pre-screenings by women's groups for this particular movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is unheard of, especially African-American groups. It is just crazy. So 3.5, 4, somewhere in the middle there. All right, folks, that's it. We're going to be talking about what's opening for the weekend. Have a great weekend, St. Louis.